The power of pause. You know what the worst negotiator does? They talk, not strategically, just continuously. They treat silence like it's radioactive, and that's exactly when they lose, because silence creates pressure. When you drop a statement and stop, your counterpart's mind panics. They scramble to fill the void. They over-explain. They reveal things they never meant to. You just sip your coffee. Think of silence like a vacuum. Most people can't stand it. They rush to fill it with noise, justification, information you never asked for. That's the cheat code. You're not fighting harder. You're staying still and letting their discomfort do the work. Here's the pattern. Most people crack after 2 seconds of quiet. The confident ones stretch it to 4. That 4-second gap makes you sound twice as competent. Why? Because comfort signals authority. When you're comfortable with silence, people assume you know something they don't. That's the whole trick. Silence does the heavy lifting. Use it in interviews. Use it in negotiations. Use it when someone pushes for an answer you're not ready to give. The pause isn't weakness, it's pressure you didn't have to apply, but here's where it flips too much and you become the creepy person everyone avoids. The goal isn't manipulation, it's composure. Next time someone asks you something, pause 2 beats before you answer. Don't fill it. Don't fidget. Don't perform. That's control, and control is rhythm. The next code hijacks that rhythm, and rhythm is what the next cheat code builds on. The mirroring effect. People think connection happens through words, smart arguments, perfect jokes. It doesn't. Connection happens because you're subtly syncing, like psychological auto-tune, not obviously, subtly. You're syncing with their tone, rhythm, the way they lean, the pace they talk, probably without knowing. Back in 1999, psychologists discovered this. They called it the chameleon effect. When someone sees their own behavior reflected back, their brain goes, same tribe. Mirroring creates familiarity. Familiarity creates trust. Think of it like tuning an instrument. 2 guitars only sound good together when they're on the same frequency. You're not changing who you are, you're matching the frequency they're broadcasting. Here's the mechanism. When someone sees themselves reflected back, genuinely, not obviously, their brain whispers, we're the same tribe. Same tribe equals safety. Safety equals trust. You don't need to dominate conversations, you just need to tune in. Soft speaker, lower your volume. Leaning forward, lean in too. You're not copying them, you're programming the vibe. The people who master this never think about it. It becomes automatic. They're not social fakers. They're psychological DJs matching frequencies without the audience knowing there's music playing. Next time you're in a conversation, notice who you're becoming. That's instinct. Now, do it consciously. The Zeigarnik effect. Your brain hates loose ends more than it hates hard work. When you leave something unfinished, your mind keeps it running in the background like a stuck app. That tension, that itch, is called the Zeigarnik effect. It's not anxiety, it's memory saying, don't forget this. Here's what happens. Unfinished tasks create a mental itch you can't ignore. Your brain wants closure, so it keeps replaying the loop until it's done. That's why you suddenly remember an email while brushing your teeth. Or why cliffhangers hook harder than conclusions. Your brain needs to finish the story. But here's what most people miss. You can weaponize this. Crack the door open. Don't walk through it. Your brain will shove you back inside. Your brain will keep tugging at it until you return. That lingering tension fuels focus later. Writers use it. Marketers use it. Netflix uses it. Every next episode is Zeigarnik at work. So the hack is simple. Open the loop deliberately. Tell yourself you'll work 5 minutes. Not finish. Just start. Open it. The moment you do, your brain takes over. The discomfort becomes stronger than your resistance. You'll find yourself still there at 30 minutes because your brain can't not close the loop now. That's not willpower. That's neuroscience hijacking your resistance. Next time something's bugging you because it's unfinished, don't curse it. That's your brain trying to finish the sentence it started. Use it. Your mind hates open loops, but that tension pulls you forward. The next code flips tension into trust. The Ben Franklin effect. You want people to like you? Don't flatter them. Ask them for a favor. Yeah, it sounds backward, like borrowing trust before earning it. But help someone once, and their brain rewrites the story to justify it. Wait, I just helped this person. Must mean I like them. That's cognitive dissonance doing damage control. Ben Franklin used it centuries ago. He borrowed a rare book from a rival who couldn't stand him. The man lent it, Franklin thanked him, and something flipped. When the book came back, they weren't enemies anymore. They were allies. Psychologists later proved the pattern. People like you more after doing you a small favor, not because you earned it, but because their brain basically gaslights itself into liking you. I helped them, so I must actually care, right? The story rewrites itself. The trick is keeping it small and frictionless. Ask someone's opinion. A quick review, a tiny assist. You're not taking, you're giving them a reason to care. The more they invest, the more they defend that investment. It's not manipulating, it's just psychology. People protect what they build, even if what they're building is you. The next rule shows how your brain frames effort itself. The 90-20 rule. You treat your brain like a battery. Drain it, recharge it, repeat. But it's not a battery, it's a rhythm, and you've been fighting the beat your whole life. Your brain works in 90-minute sprints followed by a mandatory reboot. That dip isn't failure, it's the reboot cycle. During those 90 minutes, you're sharp, fast, dangerous. Then your neurons demand recovery. Ignore the reboot and everything lags, your patience, your ideas, your whole personality. Most people feel the dip and double down. They call it discipline. It's not. It's ego disguised as work ethic. Your brain's begging for oxygen, you give it caffeine instead. That's why grind culture burns out at 3 p.m. sharp. Pure biology fighting back. The smart ones surf the rhythm. They go all in for 90 minutes, then vanish for 20. Walk, breathe, stare at a wall. Anything but grind. When they return, they don't restart. They reload. Focus resets. Energy spikes. It's not time lost, it's efficiency preserved. Those 20 minutes are where the upgrade installs. So set a timer. Work hard. Then step back before your brain demands it. You're not quitting, you're sinking. Real productivity isn't power through, it's knowing when to pause. What happens when the rhythm isn't time, but attention? That's where the spotlight hits. The spotlight effect. You walk into a room convinced you're under surveillance, judging, analyzing your outfit, your walk, that weird thing you just said. They're not. They're too busy starring in their own mental movie. That illusion, that feeling of being under a microscope is called the spotlight effect. Your brain is convinced you're the main character. Everyone's focus is trained on you. It's a beautiful lie. Researchers tested this. Students wore terrible t-shirts, deliberately awful. Researchers sent them into rooms full of people. Know how many actually noticed the shirt? 20%. 80% were too locked in their own story to register yours. Most people aren't paying attention. They're in their own movie, worried about their walk, their outfit, whether you're judging them. Everyone's too busy being the protagonist of their own narrative. And here's the freedom. The moment you believe that, social anxiety loses its fangs. You stop performing. You stop constructing the right version of yourself. You just exist. And the paradox is brutal. That's exactly when people start actually noticing you, because confidence isn't about pretending not to care. It's about realizing most people don't. Next time you feel self-conscious, ask, what are they anxious about right now? Instant realism. Instant relief. You realize you're not the star of their show, you're not the main character, you're elevator music with opinions. And once you know that, you're free. That's when people finally see you. The Feynman technique. You don't understand something until you can explain it to a 5-year-old. Not because you're dumbing it down, because you're actually understanding it. Most people confuse complexity with intelligence. They think if they drop dense jargon and navigate complicated frameworks, they truly know something they don't. They're reciting what they memorized. Complexity is just confusion wearing a lab coat. Richard Feynman was a Nobel Prize physicist who figured this out. He'd grab students and explain quantum theory using only metaphors and simple language, no jargon, no equations. Here's what happened. Every time he stumbled over his words, he knew he didn't really understand it. The moment he couldn't simplify is the moment he realized he was just repeating what he'd read. That's the gap. That's where learning starts. The Feynman technique is ruthless. It exposes every weak link in your thinking. You can't fake comprehension when forced to teach plainly. The second you hit a pause, a stutter, a moment reaching for jargon to fill the void, that's your brain saying, you don't actually know this. Here's the upgrade. Explain your belief out loud. Your stumbles will snitch on you. That's the weak link. Simplify, retell, refine. Do this until it flows like a story anyone could follow. That's mastery. That's when you actually understand. Can you explain your core beliefs to a stranger and have them still make sense? The final code shows how to lock that signal on command. The flow ritual. You think focus is a mood, something that visits you on good days and abandons you on bad ones. It's not. Focus is a command you can train. Your brain doesn't run on motivation, only triggers and patterns. Light a candle. Play the same track. Crack your knuckles the same way. Do this before every deep work session and something happens. Your brain learns, it predicts. It goes, oh, that's the signal. We're going into focus mode. That's Pavlov, but for productivity instead of dog drool. You're doing the exact same thing, except instead of salivating, you're locking in. The ritual itself doesn't matter. Candles, music, weird movements, none of it has magical properties. What matters is consistency. Your brain needs the same trigger. Same sequence, same sensory pattern every time. That's how the neural pathway gets reinforced. Break the ritual twice and your brain files it under optional. Do it 30 times and it becomes automatic. Eventually, your ritual becomes a mental shortcut. No warm-up, no friction, just trigger fires and you're locked on. But here's the catch. It only works if it's meaningful to you and if you don't break the pattern. Pick 3 steps: music, movement, breath. Repeat it before every work session. Stop thinking about motivation. You're not a victim of inspiration. You're the programmer of it. Every single one of these cheat codes does the same thing. It rewires something invisible. Invisible patterns that actually run your life. Just use it before it uses you. Let us know. Which of these cheat codes have you caught yourself using? Don't forget to subscribe. It's the easiest A+ you'll ever earn. I'll see you in the next one.